Hey, this is Dave Loves Comics, and hey, I went to an exhibit this weekend in Chicago, the Museum of Science and Industry, called the Marvel Superheroes Exhibition. And I was debating about going when I got the tickets. COVID, 19 was kind of, still up there, and my coworker, convinced me to go ahead and get some tickets. And ironically, the numbers are higher than when we originally went. So some people was mask on and mask off, up to their own personal discretion. But going back to the exhibit, and all of these are owned by Marvel, or Disney properties. And it's going to be in Chicago on September 8th. If it's come to your town, give it a check it out. If you're a fan of Marvel or any type of superheroes or geekdom or Walking Dead or any type of geek culture that you are, a fan of, or even not walking in the door if you're familiar with some of the Disney and Marvel shows, because the title is kind of misleading. Because I say this one good point. So it's Marvel Superhero Exhibition, but it really should, the emphasis should have been Marvel Comics. And I think that we look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we look at the television, the keychains and the bumper stickers and the all types of marketing, which is great. But the roots of our entertainment, the emphasis should be really Marvel Comics, because one thing, it's almost, it's making a statement. And one of the statements it is, because every Disney or Infinity War or the costumes, which is to see it up close, the Iron Man suits, the Loki, helmets and the Black Panther exhibit part of it is just absolutely, absolutely breathtaking. But what really will make you, people who not familiar, and me, somewhat familiar, is they really credit that the House of Marvel is more than just Stan Lee. And everyone, from just conversations that I shared with people, during the exhibit with my friend who also went with, but you leave out knowing, besides Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Joe Simon, Bill Manto, Chris Claremont, the list goes on and on. Jim Starlin, of course, I can't forget that. But they give them really full credit, as they should be, more than which is nice to have a thank you at the end of the, at the movie credit, but to actually see the names instilled. And I think that the people who put the exhibit together wanted to show you the legacy and the history of keeping these characters alive way before, film features was even thought of. This was just entertainment themselves and hopefully finding a different audience. And you see the underground vibe that Marvel had, especially in the 70s. With the Thanos and the Silver Surfer coming later on, and seeing the roots of the sci-fi aspect and the Thanos, and even today they was in some point in the exhibit you have the new Miss Marvel, Miles Morales, and things like that. But the legacy built on so many of the great Marvel writers. So everything that has a Marvel, like I say, the Disney Plus exhibit right next door to it. You have the roots of where, because people are just like, oh my God, this has been around since the 60s. A lot of people thought, Black Panther maybe came in the 90s, it was a cool era or just a campaign. Some people, think, he just came around a few years ago to, hit the black market, many moons ago. But to see that Black Panther came from Fantastic Four, with the mindset of Jack Kirby and things like that, and just the legacy of keeping it going. It's really fascinating, and it opens up a lot of doors and beautiful exhibits. So I would, check it out. And if not, those who know things that you love, know a little bit about. One little minus thing, and maybe they didn't have room for it, that the X-Men is kind of, it's represented a little bit, but it's smaller than I thought. Because that would be one of the Fox shows that really got the publicity of people really knowing Marvel. For a lot of young teenagers and things coming up, X-Men show is the thing that really put on the map, quite a bit. And Blade, I not the biggest Blade fan, but I know, I dive in and out. But Blade was very kind of shortchanged a little bit too. There was one picture of Blade, and I would have thought one of the major tadpole Blade films that came, in the 1990 with Wesley Snipes and things like that. There was other films before, Howard the Duck, which is known the first Marvel film, but Blade cemented that comic book properties, unknown or known, you could be more than Spider-Man or Captain America to really draw in a huge audience. And Blade to do 3 films that was all hugely successful and still in the shadow of it. And that was pre-Spider-Man and X-Men and things like that. That was the kickoff in the modern era of Marvel has the history and the legacy to, bring in the folks. But that's my little, enjoy the pictures. And I just was sitting here and said, let me just share a little bit, put a little background into it. Hope you guys stay safe and stay safe out there.